Hey guys, we are back with some more Wolfsburg Wolves franchise mode, and in this one we have a lot to do because we are coming up on the trade deadline. We're on February 1st currently. Gino is on a tear, 32 goals in 49 games played. The man is showing that age, at least for him, does not matter. We seem to have a lot of those this GM mode. Alex Steen earlier, and now Gino Malkin, 38 years of age, 32 goals in 49 games. And unfortunately, we don't have a whole ton going for us offensively. Jorg Aho he's shooting the puck as usual, but guys like Maddox Homer definitely having an off year this year. And I feel like we need another sniper. And that sniper would not be Jason Robertson as we thought he would be based on his player type, but clearly that's not the case here. As last year he only had 102 shots, 112 the year before, 86 currently. So he's on pace. I would say he's on pace for more this year than he had last year for sure, but he just doesn't simulate like a sniper. We need a pure goal scorer in that top 9 or middle 6 area, because we'll see soon what I have planned for the lines. But first, in order to make those lines happen, we need to make a trade. And that obviously involves Jason Robertson. So we are going to be making a trade to the Dallas Stars, who are 22, 25, and 3. And the player we're going to be getting back is Denis Gurianov. 27 years of age, 84 overall. He's a second line forward. I would say you could put up anywhere in the middle 6. 13 goals, 17 assists for 30 points on the season. On the rebuilding Dallas Stars, keep in mind. And he takes 130. He's had 139 shots so far this year. 176 last year, 197 the year before. So I would say he simulates a lot more like a sniper than, what's his name, Jason Robertson does. And he's pretty good defensively as well. 34 takeaways, 22 giveaways so far this year. 75 hits. He lays the body. So really, you could trust him anywhere in the middle 6. You could put him on the power play. You might even be able to put him on the penalty kill. But we're getting him mainly for offense. So Denis Gurianov, we'll add you on there. And now it makes sense as well for Dallas to want to give, even though they don't technically want to give him up because his name's not red. It makes sense why they would be able to give him up as a 27-year-old, and they're rebuilding. And if you take a look at Gurianov's playoff history, the Dallas Stars have not been in the playoffs for the past 2 seasons now, I believe. Yeah, the last playoff run they were in, at least according to Gurianov's history, was 2 years ago, it looks like. So the Dallas Stars have fallen off significantly since then. And if, you got to figure if Dallas gets a solid package back for Gurianov, then they would want to part ways from him, as they already have Matt Duchene, John Klingberg, Devin Shore on the block. So it makes sense, especially if they get a nice package back the other way, and that's exactly what they're getting. We're not giving up too much, though, and at least in terms of what's going to be on our roster in the near future. So as of right now, the trade is going to look like Robertson, obviously. And then we'll also be giving up a second for this year. We have Arizona's second, so that's a plus. And we're also, in order to fill out the cap just for them, we're going to need to give up Ian Cole. But I have no problem with that, because as we take a look at how many NHL defensemen we have. And look, Tim Bohinski, 80 overall. 80 overall in his first AHL season. If we signed him, he was like a 71 or something. He is now an 80 overall. This is like, we have so many defensemen. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 NHL ready defensemen. Now, I'm not going to call Tim Bohinski up because there's no space for him. So you may as well just leave him in the AHL. His role is still minor depth defenseman. For some reason, I don't know why, because given that he's an 80 overall, but since it says minor depth defenseman, I will leave him down there in the AHL. He'll keep getting better, and you know what? Given the growth rate that he's had, I mean, again, he started as a 71, 72, he's now an 80? Are you kidding me, Tim Bohinski? if he keeps growing like that, he'll be at 84, 85 by the start of next season. So definitely going to have to make a spot available for him. And we'll be putting Cole on there. We're also going to be retaining $1 million of Cole's salary. Because given that the Dallas Stars, they're giving up Gurianov and he's making 5.3 million, almost 5.4. And if you take a look at their salary cap, they're like 20 million left in cap. So they definitely need Cole going back the other way. But if we give Cole to them on his full contract, they won't accept it because he's making too much. But I tested this out. $1 million does work. And we're also going to have to give up one of our prospect defensemen. I mean, not like it's going to hurt us much at this point anyway, given that we have, minus Cole, that we have 9 NHL defensemen. We're going to be giving up Lumala. He's 69 overall, 20 years of age, so I would say he'll turn out to be an NHL defenseman. He's just not needed for this team because we're already in a little predicament of our own with young NHL defensemen. I mean, Barney, Virtanen, Bohinski, Staples, Kondratek, Zhamnov. I mean, we have so many. So we don't need Lasse Lumala. So he'll be going the other way. So this is a lot of value, especially given that we're retaining Cole's salary. So we're going to take a third going back the other way. So they're moving up that third to a second. They're taking on Cole's contract. And they're getting Lumala, a solid prospect, and Robertson for Denis Gurianov, who is a 27-year-old who hasn't made the playoffs in the past couple of years. So you got to think that, especially for this package, they'd be willing to unload him. Proposed trade, and that will work for them. That will definitely work for them. This is a really good deal for us in Dallas, so definitely we are saying yes to this one. I hope you know what you are doing. So now that we have Gurianov, that opens up a lot of options for us. It really does. Because now, if you take a look at our lineup, we can fill Gurianov in here temporarily. And obviously, he's not going to be on the fourth line. My plan here is I'm going to put Hintz back on the fourth line. But first, we're going to put Miller back on the first line. Now, I know Miller hasn't really done well this season. Only 7 goals, 7 assists. But taking into consideration the first line last year was Miller, Aho, and Homer. So I'm hoping that what happens here is that they can kind of reunite and get back to the level that all of them were producing last year, which was nearly point per game for Aho. And Homer had 27 goals, and Miller wasn't too shabby himself. He had 55 points. So I'm hoping that the three of these guys getting back together really creates a spark for them. Now, second line will be Gino, Point, and Furland, because Furland was on the second line last year. Point was also on the second line. Malkin was on the third line, but that will now be in favor of Denis Gurianov, another Russian who shoots the puck. So now it'll be Gurianov, Pearson, and Zanetti, and then Hintz for right now with Nelson and Stahlberg. Of course, Todd Mayer's injured. So once Mayer gets back, I would say Mayer goes on the second line with Gino and Point, and then Furland could go down on the fourth line where Nelson is right now. So that would be Furland, Hintz, and Stahlberg. Okay, so now that we have forward sorted out, defense, I got Zhamnov back in there. I'm going to give him another chance. He's young. He's 21. He has to learn from his mistakes if he's going to be a part of this team long term. So I got him in there in favor of Dahan. So we're going to see how two righties goes with Hannu Virtanen and Gustav Zhamnov. And then power play is now looking like Gurianov, Aho, and Point, and then Kuleshov and Kondratek. And then Zanetti, Malkin, Homer, Miller, and Jones before it was Dahan in Miller's spot. And then the 4-on-man power play, Aho and Gurianov with Kuleshov and Jones. Gino and Point with Zhamnov and Kondratek. And, hold on. Penalty kill. Hintz and Furland. I don't think there was too much of a change here besides... actually, there was no change on the penalty kill. And then 4-on-4, Aho with Miller, Kuleshov, and Jones. Gino, Point, Kondratek, and Virtanen. And then Hintz, Guryanov, Staples, and Jamnov. And then the 3-on-3, Aho, Miller, and Jones. Malkin, Point, Kuleshov, and Hintz with Guryanov and Kondratek. Extra attackers, Aho and Point. Shootout, Gino, Aho, Guryanov, Kuleshov, and Homer. And then Demko and Blackwood, obviously. And then Mayer, still currently injured. Wish he wasn't, because he's one of our top point producers this season. And not only that, he's one of our top defensive forwards. I mean, 65 takeaways to 26 giveaways. You may as well call him Takeaway Master Todd Mayer. I mean, that works so well. That flows so well. And then, of course, Barney and DeHaan are currently scratched as well. And Schneider sitting on the bench. And don't worry, I got Tim Bohinski on the top pair in the minor league team. So hopefully he can really, really skyrocket this year. Just become a force to be reckoned with next year in the NHL. But right now, as our lines currently are, I'm really liking them. And they'll be even better when Todd Mayer gets back. So let's go. I would say up to the trade deadline. We can take it up to the trade deadline. We're not in a bad spot, but we're not in a good spot either. So we'll go up to the trade deadline here. We'll reevaluate then, especially once Mayer gets back. So let's get there. Berlin player Kalle Rodin has been injured with a strained hamstring till February 25th. That's our all-star goaltender down there in the AHL. That hurts. The good news is that Todd Mayer has returned to the lineup. However, he's still partially injured. So I'm going to leave him scratched for right now, but we can't carry 21 skaters, or we have to send Schneider down to the AHL. And I'm thinking that's what we're going to do, because the majority of our skaters consist of defensemen, and I'm not going to send any of these guys down. So yeah, I'll send Schneider down so we can carry 21 skaters. And hopefully, well, I guess, yeah, Rodin's injured, so yeah, there you go. Give Schneider a chance to play. And Todd Mayer is fully healed, so we'll get him back in there. So, how's Nelson been doing? Just out of curiosity compared to Furland. Yeah, I'd rather keep Furland in there. He's had, I don't know if it's just the fact that he's been on the second line for a while, but he has 15 goals, so we'll leave him in there. We'll get him back on the fourth line. We'll get Todd Mayer back in. And there you go. Todd Mayer's back. What do I do about the second line, though? Because I'm pretty sure that third line's been working well together. Let's see. Pearson, 17 goals. Zanetti has 34 points. I don't know where he was at before. I think he was at 28 to start the episode. So he has 6 points in the last, what is that? 10 games? Yeah, that's not too bad. Not too bad for the third liner. How's Homer doing? 16 goals. So that's 6 goals in the past 9 games. Honestly, I think this line of Aho, Miller, and Homer has just, there's something about it that just clicks. And Miller started with 7 and 7, so that's 4 goals and 8 assists in the past 10 games for JT Miller. Yeah, that first line, I don't know what about it, but something works. Something just, it just clicks. I have no idea why, but whatever these three are doing together, it just works. So we're leaving them together. Malkin, Point, Mayer. Do I want Mayer on the right? Well, here's the thing. Gino's been doing well on the left wing. What about Point? He has 30 assists now. That was at 22, I believe, to start the episode. That's 8 in the past 9 games. I'll move Mayer to the left just because that's his passing wing and he's more of a pass than Gino is. So Gino can have the 1T. And Point will stay at center. And yeah, that's looking good. Now power play, this will be interesting. Who do I put on the power play? Or who do I replace on the power play instead of Mayer? I don't exactly want to take Zanetti off. How many power play points does Miller have? 8? Well, actually, let's just take a look at everyone individually here. 7 for Zanetti. Gino probably has a lot. Yeah, he has 7 power play goals, 11 power play points. So Homer actually has 9 power play points, so I'm not going to take him off. Oh, Jones, he probably has a lot. He only has 6. Only has 6, so 32 of those assists are even strength. That's pretty impressive. Kondratek has nothing. I'll take Kondratek off the power play. Even though he probably hasn't been there for long, but I wouldn't imagine that he's helping it out too much. So we'll get Mayer back on there. And sure, why not? We'll go for the point on the point. Guryanov on the right wing, and Mayer with Aho and Guryanov. That should work out just nicely. I'll leave the 4-man power play the way it is. He's not on the pellet kill. And 4-on-4. Honestly, I'll just leave it the way it is for right now. He's just coming back from injury, so we'll let him, recover, do what he needs to do. Obviously, he's not going to get as much ice time, but you know what? He's he's just got to ease his way into it, especially after coming off an MCL sprain. Those are rough to come back from, so we'll just give him second line time for right now with Point and Malkin, especially because the team has been on a roll. We are currently 35, 22, and 2 compared to 27, 20, and 2, I believe it was, to start the episodes. I believe we only have 2 losses so far in this simulation. Yes, we do. 7-1 win for our first game with Denis Guryanov, and then a 5-3 win against Vancouver, 4-0 win against Carolina. There's that loss against Tampa, and they're actually not a very good team. 27, 26, and 6 as it currently stands. And then another loss right there against Pittsburgh. But then we go on a 5-game winning streak against Boston, Montreal, Calgary, Detroit, and the Islanders. So that was a pretty good trade, if I do say so myself. So let's go through the last 3 games of the month up until the trade deadline. But I'm pretty sure that we don't have any worries here. As long as Mayer fits in very nicely on the second line, which it looks like so far he is. 3-1 win against the Nashville Predators. And Minnesota, Dean is back, fully healed. All right, so we'll definitely get him in there. And I'll just, I'll just take Schneider out, to be honest. And he hasn't even been playing. Okay, sure. So he's a 77 overall now, so that's good. Dean, definitely shown progression. There you go. Minnesota, we have another trade offer, decline. I'm getting a lot of those this month. Minnesota, come on, oh my goodness, decline. And that is going to be a 6-3 win against the Minnesota Wild. Yeah, that was a great trade. I'm calling it right now. That was a great trade. That was a fantastic trade for Denis Guryanov. I knew that was what we needed. So we're 38, 22, and 2 now. We should have a solid spot in the playoffs now. Yeah, 78 points. And Chicago is in a wild card with 70. And Anaheim Ducks with 66. So I don't think we have much to worry about. Well, actually, Gino hasn't scored any goals since we started the simulation, I believe. Well, 3. Yeah, because he started with 32, right? I think so. 35. So he slowed down a little bit. But the good news is that Aho has picked up the pace a lot. 33 goals already into the simulation. And we still have 20 games to go. So that's definitely, that's a career high for him. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a career high in points either. Maddox Homer, he's definitely picked up the pace. So in the past, what is that? We started the simulation at 49 games. So in the past 13 games, he has 7 goals. So he's on a much better pace than he was at the start of the season for sure. For the first half of the season, really. Todd Mayer, I believe that was at 32 assists. So in the past 3 games that he's been in there, he has 3 assists. So Todd Mayer slots in like a charm there. Denis Guryanov with 42 points. I don't know how many of those came from Dallas, but he looks like he's fitting in very well so far, just given our simulation. And Seth Jones finally has his first goal this season. There you go. 40 points on the season for him. Aaron Zanetti with a 38-point season so far. It's a career high. Still has 20 games to potentially at 50 points. He may not. But still a good year for Aaron Zanetti on the third line. Braden Point, been a little underwhelming this year for sure, but I think he's kicked it into another gear like everyone else has in the second half of the season. We definitely have a team that's built for the second half of the season and the playoffs. So I think that's what matters right here. Michael Furland, I believe, that's definitely not a career high. Yeah, I was going to say that's not a career high for him, but it's definitely a much better season that he's had in the past 2 seasons. So that's good. And JT Miller, he's definitely not on pace for what he had last year, but he did get out to a very, very slow start. Keep in mind, he had 7-7 at the start of this episode, 14 points in 49 games, and he now has 28 in the past 13. So he's over a point per game playing with Aho and Homer. So that was definitely a good move, reuniting that line. Pablo Pearson with 27 points, Hintz with 27, Stahlberg with 17, Zhamnov with 12. Let's see if his ratio is any better than it was at the start. I believe it was at 32-7. He's now at 37-9. So unfortunately, not much better. Actually, probably worse. Yeah, because 32-7 and now 37-9. So that's a bit rough, but he's still learning. I'm not a fan of his simulation, though. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on Gustav Zhamnov, especially going into the playoffs and going into next season. Calvin Hahn, he's been scratched for a month. Staples with 10 points. Is that a career high? I think it is. It should be. Tied for a career high, but in almost half as many games. So we're seeing some progression from him, for sure. And by the way, his regression from last year, he was an 80 overall last year. That I believe that is only statistical growth. So if he has a good statistical season this year, he should jump back up next year. No reason to worry about that. Better Kondratek with 9 points. Nelson with 8 in 21. Not too shabby for a replacement player. Hannu Virtanen, 4 assists. Warren Barney, he hasn't played in a bit. Only 15 games played. Should probably get him in there at some point, but you know what? Right now we're rolling, so I don't have too much of an inclination to put him in. Face-offs, let's see. Pearson, 54. Aho, 53.5. Point, 50.5. Hintz, 47.6. So Hintz could be a bit better, but everyone else is doing just fine. Hits, 119 for Aho, 118 for Miller, 103 for Jones, 99 for Pearson, 96 for Homer, 90 for Furland, 90 for Guranov, 72 for Hintz, 54 for Kondratek, 54 for Stahlberg, 52 for Virtanen, 51 for Zanetti. So that's definitely a career high for him as far as hits go. Kuleshov with 51. So is that a career high for him actually? Or getting there? Well, no, he has 89, 84. But he's definitely starting to pick up the pace physically. Dehaan, 38. Malkin, 34. Point, 30. Mayer, 28. Staples, 21. Zhamnov, 21. Barney, 13 in 15 games played. Nelson with 11. And let's see, giveaways to takeaways. Oh, yeah. Takeaway master Todd Mayer. Takeaway master Todd Mayer, ladies and gentlemen. 71-26. That is insane for a player of his caliber. Holy moly. Miller, he's got a good ratio now. 47-38. Zanetti with a great ratio, 46-29. Point, he's up there as well, 45-36. Aho, 43-39. Guryanov, 42-28, so he's been good defensively for us so far. Furland, 39-40, same thing for Gino. Homer, 33-32. Pablo Pearson hasn't been where I would like him to be. He's at 31-41 right now. Hence, 30-23, he's been good defensively. Hannu Virtanen, better than I would expect, to be honest. 26-47. Stahlberg, 26-17. Seth Jones, 24-53. He's making offense happen. Staples, that's a really good ratio for Staples. 21-33. Absolutely. Kuleshov, 21-44. That's good for him. He's making offense happen. Kondratek, 17-31. Good ratio. Dehaan, 10-28. not great, but could be better for sure. Zhamnov, really not great, 9-37. Nelson, 6-10. And Barney, 4-6. Let's see, fights. Yep, Stahlberg Stahlberg with 10. And Pablo Pearson with 2. Let's see, goaltenders. Demko, 9-15 save percentage. Now, the important thing to note is that Demko has been kind of up and down all season. Because I believe before he was at like a 907 save percentage, if I'm not mistaken. So, 915. He's probably at a 920 as of recent. Especially with the winning streak we've been on. So, I can't complain there. And Mackenzie Blackwood with a 910 in 20 games. Let's check on the AHL real quick. Rodin, 927 in 36 games. 4 shutouts. Let's see rookie skaters as well. Let's see. Bohinski, 39 points. He's now an official top 6. But I'm still not bringing him up because we have way too many defensemen up here at the moment. So we may as well just leave him down there in the AHL to tear it up. Let's see. Cole Castles. Albrecht with 25 points. Let's see. Johan Carlson with 16 points. He's been injured for a while, though. So, and I believe, actually, yeah, right, he had that major injury till, like, May, right? So, yeah, he's out for the rest of the season. And then Edgar Castles, the Castles we care about. 72 overall, 14 points for a defenseman, not too bad. Goligoski, 13 points in 49 games. And that should be it. Let's check the team stats just for fun, but I'm pretty sure, to be honest, that we're all set to go now because we've been simulating fantastic in the past month with that trade for Denis Gurianov. Anyway, we have a 3.44 goals per game. Jeez. Goals against per game. We're actually kind of getting up there. 2.65. That's better than before, I believe. Power play, getting better. 19% now. And remember, before, I believe at the start of the season, it was at like a 12.5. So we're definitely much better as of recent. Penalty kill, again, that was absolutely terrible at the start of the season. It was at a 70%. So 79.7. And I believe last we checked, it was at 76 or something like that. So it's definitely been much, much better as of recent. And in our last 10, we are 8-2. So there's, honestly, as long as we keep these same lines together and no more major injuries, crossing my fingers, knocking on wood, don't happen, we should be good to go for the playoffs. So let's just get there, to be honest. Yeah, really, nothing much left to do here. Well, knocking on wood didn't work for me. Braden Point injured with a bruised hand until March 19th. That's unfortunate. At least it's not until like May or something ridiculous like that. So we'll get hints on the second line with Mayer and Gino. And then we'll fill in Brock Nelson on the fourth line. And who's better at faceoffs? I would guess it's Nelson. He's got the 75. Stahlberg, well, actually, Stahlberg's an 80 for faceoffs. He doesn't have a great percentage on 28 faceoffs, but last year he had a 51.53 on 491. So yeah, you know what? We'll get Stahlberg in the middle for sure. And special teams, yeah, we're gonna have to fill in the power play there. Point on the point. So let's see: Mayer, Aho, Gurianov, and then Kuleshov, Zanetti, Malkin, Homer, Miller, Jones. I'll get hints on the point. I think he's responsible defensively. You can give him power play time as well. He's shown he's capable of putting up points in the NHL. I believe he had 50 last year, right? Yeah, 51. So no problem with that. Give him some power play time. Definitely not having Nelson on the four-man. So Aho, Gurianov, Malkin. We'll get Mayer in there. He should be all re-energized now. Coming off that long injury. Let's see, 4-on-4. Aho, Miller, Malkin. May as well be Mayer. Because I feel like Mayer and Malkin simulate well together, being on the second line. And the fact that Gino's a shooter Mayer's a passer and a really good defensive player for that matter, so should work out pretty well. We'll put Mayer here as well. Shootout is fine. Goaltenders Blackwood and Demko. And yep, Point unfortunately out for a couple of weeks here. Alright, Point is back now, so we'll take out Nelson. Lines back to the way they were. So before we continue on with the simulation, one thing I do want to check is the draft class, as we have not really checked that much, if at all, this year. So Antoine Moreau, we don't even have a scouting report on him. He's going first overall, but I don't think we really need a scouting report on him since we're probably not picking first overall, given that we're second in our division right now. And I don't think we have any other teams first round picks, so there's really no point in sending out a scout to scout him now. However, that does mean I think that, yeah, there's no scout in the queue, unfortunately, and that leaves out a lot of options here. Alvin Hensick, apparently. So yeah, I'm just going to make sure that the scouts are all good to go before we keep simulating, because kind of neglected them this season, and that's definitely a mistake on my part. So there is actually a Q scout, Guerrero. I thought so. I thought we had all the regions covered, but apparently they just have not been doing too good of a job here, as they don't even have the top prospect scouted at all. I mean, it makes sense because, you know, we're obviously not picking first overall, I wouldn't guess, but man, the scouts are still the scouts could still use a little bit of a improvement for sure. I mean, it's a much better scouting system than NHL 17 for sure, and then NHL 18 as well, but it still needs a little work there, because they kind of neglect some of the top prospects, and that is a issue. Okay, so it was a little bit of a rough month, but keep in mind, Point was injured for the first part of it, and for the second part, it was just kind of seesaw. So we have a 4-0 loss here, 4-3 loss, 4-0 win, 5-4 loss, 4-1 loss, 2-1 loss, 3-2 win, shootout loss against Colorado, 2-1 win, 4-2 win, then a 2-1 loss, 2-0 win, 3-2 shootout win, 4-2 loss, 4-2 loss. So we're not really streaky as of late. We're more of just back and forth, back and forth. But the good news is we've clinched the playoffs with only 91 points. We have a terrible division. We really do. So, I mean, we have that to be thankful for, but it just feels like we could be doing better, you know? Especially with the squad that we have. So, do I want to put Mayer back on the right wing and Gino back on the left? Gino has slowed down a lot. What is that? That's 10 goals in the past 30-something games. Maybe you want to put Gino in the middle, Point on the right. Or maybe Mayer on the right. Give him the one-timer. That doesn't really make much sense. I'm not breaking up Miller, Aho, and Homer, no matter what. These three, for whatever reason, they just work together. They just do. I have no idea why. Aho with 37 goals. Homer now has 21. That's 11 more than he started the episode with. So, how's Gurianov doing? Let's see, 47. Yeah, he's on a good pace. Pablo Pearson with 19 goals. Aaron Zanetti, 46 points. So, it's not likely, but 50 points is still possible for him. So, that third line's fine. Let's see, Furland. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a problem with the fourth line here, so... Actually, you know what? How's Stahlberg doing on faceoffs till we moved him back to wing? He wasn't great. 35.5. I'll leave hints there. Now, as far as defense goes, maybe we take Zamnov out. Give someone else a chance, because he really isn't the greatest simulator. 45-12 giveaway to takeaway ratio. Let's see, Staples. Yeah, he's not coming out. Kundratek. He's good. He's physical. Hunter Virtanen. Not the greatest ratio, but he's physical. And we're kind of missing that on defense, especially with Staples and Jamnov. I'm considering getting DeHaan back in there just for the last part of the season because he's the veteran. He definitely has, well, actually has the same level of poise as Jamnov. They both have 80s. About Warren Barney. If we were going to play him, it should have been more towards the start of the season. I don't really feel like putting Barney in there right now. If anyone's going in, it's DeHaan. Yeah, we're going to go with DeHaan here. I want to see what he can do to help out with Virtanen. Okay, so now that we've clinched the playoffs, we're just going to sim all the rest of the games, and we will see who we have in the first round. We got 2 wins in there, but we lost more than we won in that recent stretch for sure. Ooh, that's not good. That is not good. Going into the playoffs. Don't like to see that. But the playoffs are a different animal. And we're 3rd seed, so we're facing Winnipeg. That is just nice. I'm not exactly sure what Winnipeg looks like at this point, but I would have to imagine that Scheifele and Laine and Ehlers and Connor are still there, so that may or may not be a good matchup. We'll see. We did have more wins than them, though. They only had 44 wins. They just had more points. But before we advance to the playoffs, let's check out the end of the season stats. So Jorg Aho finishes with a 38-goal season and a 67-point season, career highs in goals and points. Gino with a 42-goal season. So the majority of those came in the first half of the season, but still a pretty darn good season for his age. Kuleshov, 64 points. He hits the 60-point mark for the first time in his career, and it seems like he's only getting better. I mean, his first season, 17. Second season, 28. Third season, 35. Fourth season, 44. Fifth season, 55. Then he took a little bit of a drop-off last year, but not too much, 51. And this year, 64. 64 points, 19 goals for Alexander Kuleshov on 219 shots. 8.7 shooting percentage. That is fantastic. So I'm definitely glad we picked him up in the draft. Maddox Homer, he got back on track for sure. He had a very slow start to the season in terms of goal scoring at least, but he's back to where he was at least point wise last year. He's at 61 points last year, 60 points this year. And you know what? Maddox Homer was a minus player before. He was. So now he's a +1. So I can't complain too much. I mean, I wish he would have gotten a few more goals this year for sure. But at the end of the day, he had 60 points. And that line of him, Aho, and Miller, again, it just works. So who am I to break it up? And Aaron Zanetti, he gets to 51 points on the third line in his second year at 20 years of age. He was 19 most of the year as well. So good second year for him. Definitely no sophomore slump for Aaron Zanetti. 51 points for Guryanov. 50 points for Mayer. Obviously, he could add more if he didn't have that month-long injury, but, you know, it happens. So 50 points for him. That's career high. Seth Jones with 48 assists. Only 1 goal in the season in 82 games played. That is fine by me. Braden Point. He had a slow start, but he finished all right. 44 points in 72 games as well. So he had that month-long injury as well, like a lot of our players, seemingly this year. JT Miller, again, another slow starter. But once he reunited with Aho and Homer, not a bad end of the season. So we started the video at, 49 games? So since then, that's 33 games, I believe. And he started with 14 points. So in 33 games, that's 21 points. Not too shabby for JT Miller. Definitely fell off towards the end of the season because he was a point per game before. But still, you know, it was much better rate than he scored at the start of the season for sure. Furland with 34. Hintz with 34 on the fourth line. Not too shabby. Pablo Pearson with a 20-goal season. Stahlberg, 22. Kondratek, 13. Jamnov, 12. Staples with 12. DeHaan with 10. Nelson with 8 in 26 games. Good replacement player. Hanu Vertanen with 5. Barney with 2. He didn't play too much this year, though. And let's see, goaltenders. Demko, 916, so he stayed consistent, at least throughout the majority of the end of the season. Would have liked a bit better from him, but he had 7 shutouts, so I guess that definitely played a role in his 916 save percentage. Now, AHL-wise, let's see, Kalle Rodin, 78 overall currently, got a jump. He was 76 to start the season, 920 save percentage. Let's see, defenseman, Bohinski, 54 points to end the season for Tim Bohinski. Not too shabby for a defenseman in his first AHL season. Not too shabby at all. He should get a huge jump, man. He started as a 71. He's now an 80. I don't know. I'm expecting him to get to like an 83, 84 by the start of next season. I really am. Big expectations for him in such a short amount of time. Mathias Albrecht with a 40-point season. Johan Carlson, who of course is still injured, so that's unfortunate for him. Rookie season, and he gets a major injury that just gets him out of commission for the rest of the year, basically. And there we go. Check our team stats going into the playoffs. Goals for per game, we definitely fell off there. We were at a 3.44 before, and now we're at a 3.15. That's a bit rough. Goals against per game, still not too bad. I mean, our goaltender was consistent, so I imagine that stays consistent from where we were before. Power play, this is where the huge improvement has been, for sure, so far this season. Well, I guess this season's over, so this season in total, this is where we saw the most improvement. Power play, 21.6. That was a 12.5 to start the season. Definitely much better getting Guryanov in there. Penalty kill improved as well. It was a 70% to start the season. It's now an 80. So, during the start of the season, definitely gave up a little too much, but we're starting to get better. And of course, at the end of the season, we had a little slide there, 4-6 in our last 10. But the playoffs are a different animal, and as long as our clutch players can be clutch players, we shouldn't have too much of a problem. But that being said, the Winnipeg Jets aren't exactly a pushover. So let's see what they're about. Alright, so first line, Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Cam Atkinson. 35 years of age, 83 overall. Second line, Vesalainen, Malgin, and Laine. So they have Laine on the second line with Vesalainen and Malgin. Interesting combination. It makes sense, right? They're spreading out the scoring, I suppose. Connor and Scheifele, and then Atkinson, veteran scorer there. Laine and Vesalainen, not too shabby. Patan, Appleton, and Duclair. Decent third line. Wilson, Roslovich, and Hyman with the fourth line. So, pretty good fourth line as well. Defense, Morrissey and Derek Pouliot. Rasmus Anderson and Tyler Myers. And Xavier Roulette with Andre Suster. And in goal, you have Connor Hellebuck. 91 overall. Eric Comrie, 81 overall. That's scratched. Adam Lowry, Matthias Janmark, and Lars Eller. So there we go. There are the Winnipeg Jets. And there is the Year 7 regular season for your Wolfsburg Wolves. And the next one, we have Vegas versus Anaheim, LA versus Vancouver, Minnesota versus Nashville, your Wolfsburg Wolves versus the Winnipeg Jets, and Buffalo versus Pittsburgh, Toronto versus Ottawa, Philadelphia versus Detroit, and Washington versus New Jersey. So there you go. That'll be it for this one. And let me know what you guys think. And I'll see you guys in the next one.